Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is part 2 of the 96 Porsche 911, which is a 993 X51 power kit. Just kind of review. That's a car I know well, but I've been asked to drive it and kind of fall back in love with it, which is not a difficult assignment. You know, these older cars, they're so different than the water-cooled family. I drive my little Boxster around pretty regularly, and it's the same kind of era as this car. They were developing the Boxster when they were ending the run on these 993s. So there's ironically some similarities with the feel of the car, some of the materials, but this is a very different animal in that it's much higher end. So they put a lot more into making this car, material wise, obviously performance wise. It's kind of the swan song, it is the swan song for the air-cooled 911s. And so these are the best ones they've ever made. Sure, some people are passionate about the earlier generations, the 964 with the traditional pontoon fenders. I've always liked the look of this car. To me, this car screams 959 in the way that the fenders work, the mirrors work, most of the glass work, the upper part of the car. Very 959 reminiscent, at least this portion here. And I've always thought the 959 was a very, very beautiful car, so I have no issues with that. Like I said in the first video, I prefer the 6-speed gearbox. I like the styling better. I like the transmission better. So for me, the 993 really is the best of the best for the final generation of the air-cooled Porsches. Driving it, it's very intimate. The floor hinge pedals are absolutely difficult to drive as casually as a newer 911 or Boxster. This car requires a little more delicate care, a little more time to engage. Now granted, I don't own this car. Obviously you get better at driving something when you own it. You become more familiar with it, but I feel like the entire process of driving this car is supposed to be more intimate and special than cars that came afterward. Doesn't mean you're faster. In fact, I would argue the opposite. I would be much slower in this car for a lot of different reasons, and one of which is definitely the way that it shifts and the way the clutch engages. It's a very narrow wheelbase car versus the modern cars, so the way it takes bumps is also quite different. Porsche, they're the masters of engineering. They've taken this platform so far. I was driving a 992 this morning. There's almost no comparison between the cars other than the fact they both wear a Porsche badge, but they're both very special. They're both very good at what they do, and I don't get tired of either one of them. So love to see these classic air-cooled cars still being enjoyed. My friend and customer, he loves this car and drives it regularly, as everyone should. You'll note if you have eagle eyes that this actually has an incorrect deck lid. This center spine on the deck lid is actually not from the C4S cars. So this car was almost certainly not born with it, and instead had a fully finned version. This style, usually you see it on the C2S, which is a very rare wide body as well, two-wheel drive format. But C4S is very special. High quality materials abound, of course, and it's just such a special place to be. I never get tired of looking at these cars and experiencing these cars, and I'm sure you'd feel the same way. So it's fun to share as much as I can. I don't have a lot of opportunities to drive air-cooled 911, so for me it's always a special experience, and definitely one that I like to call out because it's something I also want to remember very much. So come join me on the rest of my drive. I'll do a part 3 from behind the wheel, but very sedately cruising, and share what it's like to be behind the wheel of this amazing Porsche. Thanks for watching.